Hello, hello! It's Jess here from Hookandcwtch, and this is the Cwtch Cast. So I'm going to call this episode 0 because it's actually just going to be a little bit of getting to know me, so that like my first episode makes a bit more sense. Yeah, I've actually just done the first episode because I kind of knew what I was going to do for that, and this one's just going to be me waffling about myself. If you've watched that one first, I mean, well done. If you're watching this one first, I mean, go watch it, it's great. So a little bit about me. So I started dyeing last year. I'm an indie dyer, so I've not been doing this for a massive amount of time. It's actually only been 13 months that I've been dyeing, but since then I think I've progressed and learned so much. Also, I adore dyeing. Like, I love doing it so much. I am in my element when I get to just hang out with my dye bath. It's so much fun. And I particularly love creating like collections of yarns. So this is like my 3rd collection that I'm releasing at the moment. It's fairly new, but I now just do big releases of like 12 to 13 different colourways, all based on one theme. But this theme that I'm going to be doing is a big one, but I won't talk about it too much here. You're gonna have to go watch the other podcast. Yeah, go do that. So I actually only started crocheting and knitting last year as well. I'm technically a lockdown learner when it comes to crochet. I started in March last year, just before the pandemic hit, and I started with the Crochet Society boxes. I feel like I then graduated to the little box of crochet subscription boxes, and then I started getting some knit crate boxes as well. And that's how I found dyeing and how much I loved it. Knitting for me, I started knitting probably when I was like, technically when I was like 5. I think my mum showed me how to do it, and I'd get her to cast on, and then I'd do a few rows of like knits, and then I knit the other way, so it was always stretchy and it was rubbish, and I'd add on stuff. So like I never really like took it to heart and did it. My sister did though, and when we both lived in London about 10 years ago, I desperately wanted to do it, and I made a couple of things, but just never took it further. When I moved back to Cardiff, it stopped until September last year, when I decided I could knit all the things. Obviously bought myself some ridiculously expensive needles and just thought, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, I can do it ish, just not very fast. I have knit socks though, which I thought was a big achievement because they're teeny tiny stitches, they're ridiculously small stitches. And I've knit a skirt, and I'm currently knitting a jumper. The way I kind of see it is I crochet things, but I knit garments. That's kind of where my balance kind of feels right. Yeah, so accessories and things for the home is always crochet, and then garments for me is always knit. But anyway, I'm a serial crafter though, to be quite frank. I just like to do all the things. So my best friend and I generally like to go to random crafting workshops. So we've done like bauble wreath making, we made espadrilles, I went to some Jesmonite classes, and I'm generally always on the lookout for another workshop or something to do crafty because I love it. I dabble with cross stitch a bit. Again, there's me going, I can do cross stitch. This is not a floss tube channel though, I'm sorry, it's too tiny. I'll do it a little bit as like something else to do when my hands need a rest from like this or this, so I'll just do this, right? I have 3 children. My eldest is currently 5, my youngest is nearly 3. They are really close in age. and it's really hard, and I think that the reason that I gravitated towards crochet so much during the lockdown is I needed something that was just for me, and crochet ticked every single box. I could do it whilst the kids were around, and it was something that was just mine. The kids can't touch it, they do not touch my yarn. Like, I can leave stuff about and they just leave it alone because they know it is mummy's. But yeah, 3 boys, they're nuts, they ruined my house. So I've never actually made anything for any of them. Bad mum alert. I work in a toy shop. So I'm currently working in a friend of mine's shop, and it's lush. So if you're ever in Robina, come and say hello in the toy shop there. But I'm actually going to uni in September to start my pathway to a degree for next year. So I'm going to be studying to be a nurse. So that's intense. So I just started a podcast now to add some more stuff to my life, because I like being really busy and a little bit stressed, a lot stressed. I have a book group. Well, it's not my book group, I attend a book group, and those girls are just, yeah, you know when you find like that group of girls that, yeah, they are my I think I was gushing over my book group when it cut out. But I should gush over them because they're amazing. Something else about me is I've struggled on and off with mental health. A lot of anxiety around the birth of my kids, and it just totally consumed me, and I was in like a super dark place after my 3rd child, and probably only started coming out of it at Christmas. Yeah, at Christmas last year. I was made redundant in lockdown and so many other things, and I was in a super dark place. Like, I just thought everybody was against me, and they weren't. So even though I come across as like quite confident, actually I'm a complete wreck inside, that's kind of going the whole time. But I put myself out there because that's all you can do really, isn't it? So at the moment, like I said, I'm in a really good place. I'm not on any medication, which honestly is a huge achievement, huge. But I still get a bit of like social anxiety and a whole bunch of other things. I get really nervous about things I shouldn't be nervous about. But equally, I do really crazy things on a whim, like start a podcast. Yeah. Talking of podcasts, something else about me is I'm addicted to watching them. Been watching, oh gosh, podcasts, yeah, for about a year and a bit, all the craft podcasts, and I will binge watch. It's really fun watching someone from the start, like when they start a brand new podcast, but I love it when they've got like 50 episodes and I can just go back and watch like all of their projects grow really fast. Like, I love it. But I wanted to start my own podcast. I tried to get my sister to do it with me, and she said yes to a voice one but no to a video one, and I can't imagine why she doesn't want to be on video. It's totally normal, right, to talk to a camera? Totally normal. But I decided to do one to kind of just document everything that I'm doing and have something to look back on. I think it's going to be a really, really fun way of documenting things. I'm rubbish at Ravelry. Like, I do not put any of my projects on there. I do put stuff on Instagram, but I use that a lot for this. So this is going to be more or mostly about what I'm crocheting and knitting, and possibly making other things. So I'm excited for this going forward. Something else about me, I toyed with being vegan for a while. I do really care about the environment and the world that we're going to leave behind for the kids, but I don't think I can be vegan because I like cheese and wool. and eggs. And I've got a leather sofa. So I'm veggie. Yeah. I've got a couple of guilty pleasures. I keep looking down because I've got notes. I'm not normally a note kind of person, or I am a list person though, but I'm not normally a note person. So I'm not sure how many more podcasts I'll have actual show notes for. But I do for right now. So guilty pleasures, TikTok. I'm obsessed. I do feel like an OAP on TikTok. Although I do think there's more older people on there these days than there were. I'm pretty sure TikTok just started off with like 13-year-olds dancing, right? But now I make all sorts of things about yarn. So that's fun. Marmite spaghetti, flipping heck. Why have I written this one? Guilty pleasure, Marmite spaghetti. I put Marmite on a lot of things that Marmite shouldn't be on. Peanut butter being one of them, but that was amazing. But Marmite spaghetti, butter, Marmite spaghetti, cheese. Literally what? There's nothing that is more delicious than that. I have that whenever I'm sad. And awful TV. I'm addicted to trash, and I mean trash. Like Love Island, Are You the One? Quite literally, you put any trash TV on, I'm like, for hours. Hours, I can just binge watch it. And the last thing I'm going to say about me is I'm a gin girl. I love a cocktail, but I love gin. And that's probably about as much as you need to know about me. 31. Should I just chuck my age in? Anything else? Married to a man called Mike, who's super supportive, super lovely. Yeah, that's me. So like I said, I'm Jess of Hookandcwtch, indie dyer, crocheter, massive waffler. I can talk for hours. My friends actually used to joke about there being Jess TV, and they'd all do this. Guys, I'm on TV. Oh, if you want to find me on any of the socials, it's Hookandcwtch, all one word. I'll link it below. And if you like this and want to stick around and want to get notifications, like and subscribe.